And we're back just like that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Blue Abroad Show here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel for our very first live stream of 2026. It is Monday, the 19th of January, 2026. We got here. We finally got here. I've spoken to quite a few of you, particularly those of you that were at open training on Friday. And I think a lot of the general sentiment was around how much we just needed something to break the circuit. It got a little bit tense and it got a little bit testy towards the end of last year, but we got there and the break was epic. And I'm very excited to be back. And I'm very excited to be back with you all Monday night, 7 p.m. here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. You know how it is, just the usual scheduled live stream. So tonight we're going to do really just more or less introduction into the year. I don't think we need to be too emotional tonight. We probably might get a little bit emotional, but I want to start the show just with connecting back with you all. For those of you who haven't spoken to yet, I want to see how your break was, share some stories. I actually have a really interesting story. It's something that happened over my break. And yeah, we're going to go through a few bits and pieces of the news, talk about open training a little bit more, bit of housekeeping, season launch event, details about that coming out tonight. I've got the tipping competition with the cheer squad happening. Also today, I'm going to take us through the email that I can only assume every member received it today around the AGM that's happening on the 11th of February, and also what that means. We can go through, look through all the complex language and summarize it all. Then we can talk a little bit about some players. I think Harry Mackay is an agenda item tonight. It was a little bit of a scare last week, but have an update around that. And yeah, we'll just welcome ourselves back. So how are you all? I've got to remember how to do this again. It's been a while. What I would like to do is I'd like to ask you all what was the highlight of your break, because the last time we were together here on stream was the 19th of November, and that was night one of the draft. So I tapped out after there. So I want to know, what did you do on your break and what was the highlight? And then I will share with you just a fascinating story that happened to me over there. Good to see some really familiar names. Paul. Hello, Paul. Beautiful photo there, Icon Park. Good to see you, my friend. Frankie, you are here. Sunny Coast Excavations. Hello. Jimmy Raptus. Dark Horses this year already. I sense that we're burnt and a little bit guarded. And I sense this quiet hopefulness that not too many people want to get too loud with, but I'm curious to see how that's going to develop over the preseason. Hello, the Explicit Empress. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling refreshed. This will be the most, hopefully it's not the happiest I look all year. Hopefully the season isn't a drainer. Hopefully it adds energy rather than takes it away. The break feels like it didn't happen. Now we're back here. Yeah. Hello, Says. Anyone else feel like the Carlton Football universe has clunked back into place with BA back? Love that. It all felt far too familiar. On the 12th of January, I was in Sydney and I started getting to work, opened the laptop, started checking emails properly. I called Pommy, and I actually think a lot of other people had this exact scenario happen where they called someone or they spoke to someone and they must have said, gee, it's the 12th of January and we haven't had, a dick pic or an injury. And then obviously Jesse Motlop's ACL news came through. So yeah, that's how I knew things were back to normal, because it's been, I think, all bar one preseason of the last 10, there's been an injury at training or an ACL injury at training. So yeah, definitely there. Okay. All right, guys, tell me your stories. Tell me your stories. I want to know what happened in your break. Gazman, You put $4 on a horse in the fourth race, ran at 4 p.m. on the 4th of the 40. Yep, you guessed it. Amazing. You watched the Aussies smash the Poms whilst you got the garden in show condition. Very good. Tatum's tantrum. I've missed you. Your highlight of the break was just having a fantastic holiday from work, kids, school. Amazing. Hello, Blues 3038. Mr. Tashman, 4 weeks in Seattle. NFL absorbed and your Seahawks. Amazing. Hello, Petra. It's good to see you at Icon Park on Friday. GBC, you went down, you were camping at the Murray. Love that. Yeah, smashing the Aussies. Smashing the Pom, sorry. I can only assume you gave our Pommy some shit as well. I hope so. Although he's up and about because United are evidently back. Aaron Wright, the Ashes was your highlight. Days on end laying on the couch watching the Poms lose. Fantastic stuff. Hello, Mr. Hayward. Aston Villa has helped you see what a professional football team is like to follow. Okay. Why is my lip sync out? I don't know. It could be my internet. It could be your internet. Let me know if there's any other issues with it, please. I feel like the sound is not synced. All right, let me play around with it. Maybe it's just warming up. I don't know. Actually, let me test a little something out here. Let me try this for you. No, sounds pretty. I mean, it looks fine for me. Hello, Kate. Down Under Wrestling Reviews. You're looking at starting a junior pro wrestling program for kids. Love that. Tatum, your son moved up to Houston and got engaged. Congratulations. Hello, Mr. Rovetto. You're watching the Gunners play well. Yeah, I don't want to jinx it, but it's all there. It's all there for the Gunners to just take it. Paul, don't mention the cricket. Julie, you were in Bali. John, took a vibe from me. You went to Thailand. Pie supporters are hacking the show. Looking forward to seeing what the Pie supporters have for us this year. The Explicit Empress, you met a random witch at a market in Melbourne who knew about a meeting you had with a stranger while you were in Italy. So magic is real, and apparently you lived in Italy in a past life. I believe that. Thomas, not hearing anything about Carlton over the break. Yeah, I feel like I get paranoid trying to give a compliment to the club. But there was no drama. There was no scandal. There was one ACL injury, which is terrible for Jesse. And it also is an opportunity for someone else. We got through the Christmas week. We got through the first week of January. We just didn't get through the second week. So on that front, it was fine. Up the Schwannies. Welcome to you. Lol's Cow Productions. Costa, winning the Ashes is like Carlton beating the Maggots. Looking forward to the Blues smashing teams this year. I hope so, mate. I hope so. You have watched Favola goals since the new year. Can't believe how good he was looking back. Yeah, I think Carlton Blues fans uploaded a video of all of Brendan Favola's goals, which I haven't watched yet, but I will get to it. You have a lip syncing issue too. It might be my connection. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. It could be, I don't know, it could be this. I've got like a new foam cover on the microphone, but I mean, for some people, it looks like it's fine. Some people not. Explicit Empress, you've also had some interesting DMs regarding Stephen Silvani. Yeah, that was grim, that whole thing. Oh, yeah. Frankie says Sachs got to be a part of The AFLW Grand Final entertainment. You know what? It's a bit of a travesty, and I'll tell you why. Because the world and the reaction was all around Kelly Holiday, and like fair play, he had the microphone. But the real winner was that our man Frankie Says Sachs was on stage for the AFLW Grand Final entertainment, and I feel like we didn't give him enough love, and so I just want to put that out there. Robbie Varley, good to see you, mate. Hope we're all feeling refreshed. Hunter, you had a baby girl. Congratulations. You already got her a baby membership. You're done for. You are absolutely done for. Yeah. John, you stayed home, St. Kilda. You did yoga on the beach for 3 weeks. I rate it. I absolutely rate it. Wildy, that's because it's now run by modern day administrators in Wright and Davies. Their influence cannot be underestimated. Yeah. Yeah. Up the guts. 49ers fans are blaming an electrical field near their training facility as the reason for their injuries. Can we blame the CSIRO? Are they still there? Yeah, I am very excited to see the new theories that we come up with for whatever happens this year. All right. Hello, Hoops crew, our Geelong friends. How you doing? I've got big compliments for the Cats this year because I think they've made one of the more underrated acquisitions, being Nathan Buckley. I think he's going to have a profound impact on Geelong. And I don't think too many people are talking about it, but I can just see how much of a story it's going to be at some point this year. All right. Now, I have a story for you. So I was away. I want to share my screen just to give you, I'm going to paint the picture of my story. See how I go. Okay. So this is where I was. Okay. You'll see here, right here. I'm going to zoom out just to give you context. So I was here literally in the middle of nowhere, like village in Thailand. Okay. Bangkok is down here. I'm like right smack bang in the middle. Okay. And as you can see, like we're somewhere here. Okay. So you'll see why I'm telling you this. Now, I'm at my camp. It's fine. There's a swimming pool there. I've trained on one particular day, and there was a mother who had brought her 2 young girls with her to the camp just to get away. She's traveling with them for 9 months or whatever it was. They're from, I think, Portugal. They had lived in Indonesia. Now, on this camp, there was about 55 people on this camp from all walks of life, all around the world. Only 1 or 2 Australians at this point in time. So I'm laying by the pool. I've got a Carlton hat on. Now, at this point, nobody is talking Carlton. Nobody knows what footy is. There's no concept. You're talking to people from around the world, and they've got no clue about footy. And this mother, one of her little girls, she's 8 years old. She walks past the pool. She walks past me, and she's got these board shorts on. Let me see if I can. Right? I don't know if you can see that. She's got these board shorts on, and you can see the monogram. So naturally, I react, and I'm like, Taya, that's her name. I'm like, where did you get them from? And she's like, oh, they used to live in Indonesia, and they met Australians. I think she said they were a cricket team, and basically they donated a set of Quicksilver shorts, but these particular Quicksilver shorts had the Carlton monogram on them. And like in the moment, it's just so wacky. Like think about the concept of where I was in the world, who I was around, and the fact that I was still able to somehow come in contact with the monogram. Mind you, they had no idea what Carlton was. They just thought they were a cool pair of shorts. So yeah, it was just fascinating to me. And I don't know. Explicit Empress, can you like tell me what that's about? Because that's magic in my view. Like extremely random. Like fair enough if it was an Australian who went, supported Carlton, like fair enough. But we're talking about random people who are, you never would have come across them unless you're in this remote part of the world. And yeah, so I was very taken aback by that. I think one of the highlights of the break was just that point in time. I've left. I can't stand the thought of footy. And then went to Bangkok by the end. And then last week I was in Sydney. Once I was in Sydney, the itch came. And so like that feeling of not wanting to talk about footy and then missing footy, I don't know what the exact moment was, but yeah. So there you go. Did we have, well, I don't know. I don't recall having any collaboration with Quicksilver, but I mean, it makes sense for some sort of a brand to do a collaboration with AFL, have some sort of a licensed AFL agreement and bring out a line of shorts or whatever. So anyway, that's one of my stories. I'm sure. When was it? I can tell you when it was. It was on the 18th of December, 2025 at 12:12 p.m. So there you go. I'll let you do what you want with that information. Yes, I am going to be at the SCG for opening round. Very excited about that. I will also be making the trek to Perth. First time in my life going to Perth. I'll be there for the Anzac Day game against Fremantle. So there you go. Petra, it was the spirit of Carlton. Yes. Sam, when you were in Vietnam a couple of years ago, you saw a Carlton calendar in a random hostel. It was an Aussie over there who owned the place. You know what? I want to know about more of your random magical encounters with Carlton anywhere around the world. Like, where's the most, what and where is the most random encounter with Carlton that you've ever seen? I mean, Paul, you would be definitely one of them. If someone was to bump into you in your village, I'm sure if a Carlton supporter was to find you, they would squint. Hello, Ben. Dione? Yes, Thailand's always a good place. I love it there. Absolutely love it there. Yeah, it's a sign. Big blue years. Yeah. If I asked the universe for a sign that I was doing the right thing, that would be it. All right, well, there you go. Baggers meet up in Perth. I promise. Yes, we will. The Explicit Empress was at open training removing the curse the other day. Very good. Samara Crawford, you saw someone in Disney World once with a Carlton cap. Shania, am I coming to gather round? Probably not. If I do an Adelaide trip, it'll be the Port Adelaide game, not the Adelaide game. Call me a pessimist all you want. I just don't want to go. Rocco, come to the Camfield. You buy me a beer. All right, done. Isn't that where the official supporter group function is at the Camfield? Isn't that how it works? I will be in touch. Actually, I spoke to David Tomazin, who's been on the show a few times before, and he said that he will have me down at the function wherever that is. If that's the Camfield, I'll be there. If it's not, Rocco, I need to meet you because I've seen way too much of you online to not have met you properly, that is. Thomas, Boxing Day, several years ago, you were in Venice on a cold day with no one in St. Mark's Square, and you ran into a bloke who stopped you because you had your hat on and you had a chat about the baggers. Unbelievable. Erin, you saw a random German-speaking commuter on a train in Berlin in August. Wow. Yeah, Weldy, I've seen this. Pierre Gasly. He's actually wearing this Carlton hat in about 3 or 4 different photos. So I don't know how he found the club. I think maybe when he was here in town, they must have done something with him and he's just lashed onto it. Gazman, not crazy random, but you delivered a pizza and Fraser Brown answered the door. No, that is exactly what I'm after. That's brilliant. Ethan, the Camfield is next to Optus. Perfect. Well, I'll be there. Adrian, do I plan to touch on the Silvani mess? I mean, yeah, we can touch on anything. Touch on anything you want. What I'll do is at some point in the show, maybe a little later on, I'll get through a few things and then I'll put the link up in the chat and you can bring people in, and if you want to talk about the Silvani matter, we can. But I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I mean, for me, it's got nothing to do with Carlton other than, Steve played for the club and so did Jack. It's just a travesty, but whatever. Slobbo. When am I going on Love Island? Mate, I'm retired. Where have you been? I ain't going on Love Island. Actually, I wouldn't even go on Love Island if I was single. So not for me. Michael Jones, you have Vic Carlton number plates and had multiple people give you the thumbs up or toot you 2 years ago in Perth. You will be home away from home over there. Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Perth. I'm told that, and I mean, no disrespect to, the Adelaide Carlton fans and the Queensland baggers and, the New South Wales baggers, but I'm told that the WA Blues do it differently. So I need to go and see it for myself. Nick, you saw a guy at Centrelink wearing a Carlton hat, but he wasn't a Carlton supporter. Yeah. Okay. All right. Lance Whitnell delivered your Uber Eats. Amazing. Amazing. Tally, you'd love to meet, but unfortunately unable to afford to get to games or events in Melbourne. If you're willing to travel to Deniliquin, New South Wales for a weekend, well, I will be at the pre-game function in opening round. If you're going to be at the game, I'm in touch with the supporter group in New South Wales, and we're actually going to be doing something pretty special. I reckon I can tell you. So they're running a raffle, which I will get one of them on sometime in the next week. And as a part of their raffle, you're going to have a Guernsey that you win for the opening round. And also I'm going to gift an annual membership to Blue Abroad as well. So for those of you in New South Wales, make sure you get down to the pre-game function. I'd love to meet you there. And we've also got, for those of you in Melbourne, got the season launch, which took a bit of a twist today, which I'll explain soon. WA is definitely Carlton's second home. All right, I'll wait. I'll wait and make my judgment there. Matula, I love Perth. Whole family heading over for the Freo game. Amazing. All right. Box Bacon. Hello, mate. Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. A guy you had never met was staying in the same hostel. He had an old Blues cap on. Funny thing is, he didn't know Carlton. Someone had just left it there in their travels. Amazing. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the audio and the video. For some of you, it's working. For some of you, it's not. I do apologize. It could be my internet. It could be a number of things. I'm not sure, but I'll see what I can do. I don't actually know what I can do, if I'm honest. Anyway, okay. Up the guts, you bumped into the Dominator pre-game versus the Cats. He has 2 spare seats. Watch the game with your boyhood hero. Never forget it. All right. Tatum. Let's get into it. David King was talking up Billy Wilson at Carlton training. So it was an interesting time on Friday. First open training for the year, and they've actually properly released a schedule now for open training. I think they're going to be doing weekly sessions apart from the first week of February. I think it's like every Friday, if not Friday, then Saturday. So I think we all finally got our wish. We used to wait for a random announcement for when there was an open training. And so, that's a good sign. But no, I'm really cautious to make any judgment from what I saw on Friday, because the bottom line is we're starting from such a mediocre place. Like, we look at where we finished last year and look at the starting point now. So, I don't expect the kicking to have improved in that session. I expect the kicking to improve hopefully over the next few months in the lead up to opening round. I just think personally it's way too early to make any sort of assessment on what's going to happen. Yeah, that's just my take. Yes. So there were some interesting things here. I was at the club today. I had lunch with my sister, and Mrs. Buckland was here, and we saw Paul Roos just walking into the cafe. Now, that could mean anything. That could be just like a random meeting. That could be absolutely anything. But Julie turned to me and said, have a look over there. And we saw Paul Roos in the cafeteria. I think he was ordering a coffee or something. But we will see if that means anything. You missed training with work. You're going to be going this Friday. Yeah, I think it's just such a layup. It's easy. It's easy for them to have it on. Yeah. We weren't allowed to film after like 20 or so minutes. So they did this at the end of last year. For whatever reason, I don't know whose directive it is, but they don't want people filming after the warm-ups, basically, whether it's got to do with the boys are scratchy or gameplay, whatever it is. But I think from this week, it should be fine. So, yeah, that's part of the reason why you won't see too much match simulation from my highlights. But, yeah, hopefully this week. Although this week I think is more of a family day, so I don't know how serious the session will be. So there you go. Now, I asked today about Harry. I asked and said, is he okay? I actually saw him. He was in his training gear. He had just trained. They had done a massive session today, 3-hour one. And when I asked about Harry, I'm like, is Harry okay? Yes, was the answer. Did he train? Did he get through that running session on Saturday? And did he train today? And the answer was yes. No other detail other than that. So, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because he obviously left the track early in the warm-up, had some sort of hamstring awareness or tightness, and just went back into the rooms. And then he was seen in the gym. So I don't think we have too much to worry about there. At this point in the year, it's just such a sensitive time because this is that window where injuries can happen. We're seeing it all across the league. I think we saw today Dan Curtin with a kneecap injury doing a wrestling drill on the ground with Jordan Dawson. Like, that's not the turf. That's just, I don't know. I don't know where you sit on that. I don't know what the right answer is of what they should and shouldn't be doing. I think the reality is we just expect injuries to happen. It's going to happen at some point. So that's that. Down Under Wrestling, I feel they will announce the Walsh re-signing at Family Day. Yeah. You know what? Might do a poll because I was under the impression that he was ready to sign, if not already had signed. So I want to put a poll up in the chat and get a pulse on this. So give me a moment. Do you think Sam Walsh will re-sign before the season starts? So we can open this up. I mean, maybe because of what happened last year, and I've learned a bit from it, but as much as it would be nice to have Walsh sign an extension with the club, you know, it'd obviously be lucrative. You got to think of it from both points of view. Like, can he play a full season? Is his body reliable? Is it going to be reliable? I mean, if we're going to be forking out the market value of Sam Walsh, like if he's out there on the open market, what are teams going to be offering? 5-6 year deals? I believe he would be $1 million player. If DeConing's $1 million player, then Sam Walsh is $1 million player. So I'm not as nervous about this one yet. Maybe it is because of last year, but I am curious to get your thoughts on that. So if you're all watching on YouTube, do you think he will sign before the season starts? Hello, Tom. Great to have you back as well. Also, think we should talk about Walsh The Edmund story that the club is now confident he signs before round one. I'll bloody cheer it. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, he has said the right things, loves the club, no bullshit mentality. It's all good. It's great. He's training hard. He looks awesome. Looks epic. I'm always excited to watch Sam Walsh play footy for Carlton. But I mean, if anything, we learned it's until the signature is announced, the words are empty. You can give reassurances to say, like, I love where I am and let's just let it play out. But yeah, I just don't think I'm as obsessed with him signing as what I maybe would have been in the past. Can't do another season of contract speculations again. I really do think that this is just part of the game now. Or maybe last year was just different and an anomaly. Because as we learned, a contracted player could still leave, force a trade out, let alone a free agent. Will resign? Will re-sign and be announced as captain? And we'll see. He definitely looks great. He definitely looks great. Hello, Joel. 2026 is here. Good to see you. Actually, what I'll do is I want to speak to some of you. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. Anybody is welcome to call in. He's our next captain. I think I felt the same, but I think it's Wiedering. I toss and turn with it. Rick Woods should have had another option. Well, the question is the question. Do you think he resigns before the season starts? Most of you think he will. All right. We'll see as the time passes. Oh, no. Pommy. What, your first comment in a live chat and you're quoting 6-7? Adrian, you hate the I love where I am comments from players. Look at all the idiots that set it this year. They all left. Yeah, it is. Ducks, you saw Paul Roos at the club at the end of last year as well. I thought he must be there for a 95 function or something like that. Interesting he was back there again. Yeah, could be a number of things. Rocco, glad to have you a part of the Hair Society of Carlton because Walsh's hair, I don't know what he's doing with it. I think he's waiting for the right moment. I don't think he knows what he's doing with it. I think he's just letting some sort of a gut feeling come to him. But we'll see. We see Ben Ainsworth looks majestic. Yeah. I think one of the so many takeaways, but I think one of the interesting ones for me was seeing. I mean, Harry didn't train, so it kind of forced one of the teams in the match simulation to play pretty small with Brodie Kemp as the focal point. And so all of a sudden you see Ben Ainsworth out there, half forward. You see Cripps forward at times. You see Will Hayward out there at times, half forward on the ball, work rate standing out. You start seeing little bits and pieces. Billy Wilson was highlighted as standing out and fitting in, which was nice. So, yeah, I think if anything, I said it in the video, but Zach Williams playing behind the ball was, if anything, a bit of a clue. But we'll see on Friday. We'll see what they do. All righty. Petra, it's not Wiedering for you. Kind of a captain that avoids tackling. Okay. All right. Any news or expectations on Ben Camp? Nothing from me yet. I'm waiting patiently. I am waiting. I don't think the time to say that Ben is gonna make it or not has happened. I'm not there yet. I want to give him a few weeks, at least a month. My main thing at this point is let's just not get any injuries over the next few weeks. Joel, you will say this, grit. We have the players, but do we have the glue? Okay. All right. We will see. All right. Now, I want to pay tribute to someone. So over the, I guess the break, some sad news, and I do want to send condolences to Carl, the Alibrandi family. So, unfortunately, Carl, who was actually a member of this channel, he passed away at the end of last year, and I wanted to share a story about Carl. Unfortunately, we never were able to do a Carlton People episode, but I spoke to his wife last week, Tony, and I wanted to just at least have something on here that honored him. So Carl was a mad Carlton man. And I mean, mad. Everywhere he went, he had some sort of Carlton merchandise on him, whether it was his keys, his hat, his T-shirt, whatever it was. And I want to share a story about him, which I guess kind of goes to show how much I knew him. So he was a member. He had signed up in November 2024, and then he had called me randomly middle of the year last year, and he said, love the show. He lived in Coburg, and he said, I've got a whole bunch of memorabilia. He's like, I've got too much, and he knew that I do the giveaways for the Blue Abroad membership, and he said, mate, you can come here anytime and take anything you want. Now, I've actually never met Carl in person. I've only spoken to him on the phone. And so when I got back, I went to call him, and it was just a shocking way, to hear the news, because Tony picked up the phone. I called to speak to Carl to see if I could catch up with him, because I kind of stalled it a bit last year, and heard the news that he had passed away. So I just want to send a lot of love to Tony and the Alibrandi family, and we're thinking of you. I know that it was sudden news. And we just want to send our love on behalf of everyone here in the live chat and the Blue Abroad community, the Carlton community, and it's just I think that's our second one that I've come across now, and so God bless to the family. So that's Carl. All right, I think what he would want us to do, judging by the way he would speak and the way and the interactions I had with him, he would want us to get on with it, and he would want us to have a great year. So that's what we're going to do. Alrighty. Now, next up on the agenda is the tipping competition. So the cheer squad, they're back, and their tipping competition is back. So what I'm going to do is I'll put this in here. This is the link for the tipping competition for this year. Okay. I'll share my screen, and basically it will be taken here. All right. $25 entry. First prize will be a 2026 team signed Guernsey. So that'll be on one of the new Guernseys. Second prize will be a Patrick Cripps signed Guernsey. And third prize will be a signed Guernsey by the Camperelli twins. All right. And all prizes will come with a certificate of authenticity. So make sure you click the link, get around it. The cheer squad didn't do their tipping comp, I don't think, last year. So that's back. I'll be doing it. You can enter there. Okay. Now, today, in terms of the latest news about the Blues, today we got an email from the Carlton Football Club for a notification of annual report and the annual general meeting. And I want to make sure that we are crystal clear on everything that is in this report and everything that is going to be happening at the AGM. And maybe we can make some sense of it, because it is obviously written in a certain language. I don't think it's as serious as what we've seen from these notices in the past, but there are a few things. So let me just bring this up. So with all of these notifications that we get, what they do is they attach a few things. They attach some, the official notice of the general meeting, and they put some things in there. So I'm going to make sure that we are all very clear on what's here. So this is the first attachment. Okay, so it's the 100 and I'll make sure we can see that. 161st annual general meeting. All right. Wednesday, the 11th of February at 6 p.m. Matchday Pavilion, entry through gate 6. And there are a few things that are going to happen at this meeting. As they always do, they talk about the financial report, the director's report, and the auditor's report. And I'm going to go through some of the annual report and some of the things I noticed. As every AGM, there's going to be the results of the election of the directors. I'll talk a bit about that shortly. And then there will be an announcement for some players who achieved life membership because they've hit the criteria. So interesting to note about this, right? Now, I don't know if you guys know much about proxies, but if you want to vote on anything for whatever, or have your interest represented, you can appoint a proxy. You basically just go to this part of the website here. There you go. There you go. They've hyperlinked it. Interesting. Okay, but I just want to make sure we know about this. So the first one, the financial statement and reports, a requirement that the auditor's report is to be laid before the club's AGM. Members will have a reasonable opportunity to ask questions and comment on the reports, and the management of the club. There's no requirement for members to vote on or approve the reports. This is an interesting one here. So for the election of the directors, what we need to know is this. David Campbell, who is the longest serving director since last elected, I believe that's 7 years, he is required to retire by rotation. Okay? The Constitution allows the board to appoint any person to fill a casual vacancy on the board or as an addition to the existing directors, provided that the total number of directors does not exceed the maximum number in the Constitution, which is 8. All right. So as we know, early last year, do you remember before the Collingwood game? Do you remember they sent us the email like midday of the Collingwood game to tell us that Michael Byrne and Christopher Townsend were appointed to fill the vacancies? So the vacancies last year were Luke Sayers and Tim Lincoln. So they will also be required to nominate for election. So David Campbell, Michael Byrne, and Christopher Townsend have nominated for re-election, and the club has not received any other nominations. Accordingly, there is no requirement for a member's ballot. So interesting there. Now, new life members. Jacob Wiedering, Harry Mackay, Jack Silvani, and Charlie Curnow met the player life membership criteria and are eligible to be awarded life membership of the club under the Constitution. Now, that clause says you play, I think it's 100 games. You play 100 games and you are a life member. So the two lads who left will be appointed life members of the club. So there's that. And then the other attachment was this. This is the annual report. I don't know about you guys. I geeked out on this. I love it. I love it all. So they start with highlighting the success of the AFLW program. I can't say they tried to sugarcoat it. It's actually quite sad to see how it all played out. But anyway, 100,000 members, second year in a row, which is obviously great. I took some certain notes down, which I thought were really interesting. Let me just get some of these up. Let me show you here. One moment. What were the highlights? Oh, yeah. So the 100,000 members, which we hear about all the time, that was there. The gate receipts increased to 28 million, up from 26.6 million. An interesting part here, the digital content consumption grew by 30%, which is very significant in the context of the game. And it also just goes to show where the game is. And one thing I don't think I've seen too much of, but they've got the board here, and it actually tells you how long they've been on the board. Now, we know the president, Rob Priestley, and the co-vice president, Paddy Kinnersley, are here. So Rob Priestley's been there for 4 years, and Paddy's been there for 6 years. You've got Chris Townsend, KC, and David Campbell. Chris Townsend is pretty fresh, 7 months. David Townsend, 7 years. Greg Williams here. This is always a contentious one. It seems like he's here to implement standards and, I don't know, connect back to some sort of identity to the Carlton Football Club. But I'm fascinated to know how this position plays out in 2026 and beyond. Lara Carey, she's been on the board for 4 years. Helen Kurincic has been on the board for 1 year and 9 months. And Michael Byrne was one of the other two who entered with Christopher Townsend. So he's been there for 7 months. So there's that. The soft cap limit has increased leading into the 2026 season. There was actually quite a heavy investment by the club there. Do you remember we did this exercise? Maybe 2021. Do you guys remember when they had, winning premierships somewhere like third or fourth, and then we highlighted it and then it was changed? So always good to see that this is just a very simple statement. Look, see, like all here, you've got all these words like great, yeah, awesome. It's very simple what the objective of the football club is. Okay, so there's that. The other thing that I thought was interesting to note was the club's allocation. So the AFL's allocation of a regional NGA zone to Carlton for the first time, covering the Murray Bush Rangers region. So that's going to give us opportunities with regional communities to expand the reach of the academy. I don't know where I saw it here. Oh, maybe it was here. Now, can someone correct me if I'm wrong here? I'm going to zoom in again, right? So known as the home of the AFLW, Icon Park held another successful 2024 AFLW final series across November 2024, further leading into the 10th home and away season of AFLW, hosting 12 AFLW matches. Well, is this a typo? Why are we hearing about the 2024 AFLW season? Or is this report the 2020? I mean, it is the 2025 annual report. I wasn't sure if that was a typo or not. So there's that. The spending. The other thing I noticed was the spending of the soft cap. So spending, we actually spent to the maximum limit across the football department soft cap for both programs. So other things to note. Now, the club actually had I think it was an operating loss. And that has, I think, a lot to do with the investments that they've made. And also, obviously the imaging center was one of the big investments last year. And then I read towards the end of it, but I need to read a little bit more of it. There was some sort of investment in a loan made. There was a loan made, I think, for the imaging center, and then an investment in a joint venture. So you'll see, I'll zoom in. So we've got a 50% interest in a joint venture. So that's the imaging center. And then we've got some sort of investment in some funds, and we've put it somewhere. I need to read up a little bit more about this, but I'm sure it'll come up at the AGM. That's what I took from this. I geeked out on it. And if you want to read through it, if you didn't get the email, I think every member should be well informed. That's the annual report. right there for you. So you click that link and go from there. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Love your commitment. Love your work, Tez Go Baggers. Thank you very much for the 50. Ake Boise 1111. You are a legend. Thank you so much. Wildy, that's because the financial year ends 31st of October and the AFLW season for 2025 is still going at the time. Well, that would make sense. That would make sense. When was the annual? Well, it came out today, I believe. Came out today, I think from the 31st of October. Well, yeah, end of the financial year. So that's when it came out. Anyway, some interesting reading there. Okay. Now, the Blue Abroad season launch. It's time to talk about that. Now, we've had an issue. So the season launch, I did say on Friday, was going to be on the 27th of February. Now, how it's going to work is this. The first release of tickets will go to members of the channel. Okay. And then on Friday, I will release the tickets for everybody else. So members, you'll get that first opportunity. We are going to have a season launch event. It's going to be on Friday, the 20th of February. Now, initially I said the 27th. Spoke to the owner of the venue today. He didn't realize that there was an and I didn't realize, and he didn't realize that there was an Ed Sheeran concert on the 27th of February. So unfortunately, Amphora will not be available on the night. They've got another function. So anyway, I do apologize for those of you who, there's actually a few of you that, well, actually someone's going to the Ed Sheeran concert and he was going to come to the event and then go to the concert, which is amazing. But yeah, Friday, 20th of February, it's going to be at Amphora, which if you think of Marvel Stadium, you know, the big entrance, gates 2 and 3, like the new one. To the right of there is a place called Friends of Fire. It's like the pub. Now, upstairs is the function room. That's Amphora. So we're going to have, the way we're going to structure the event, it's not just a Blue Abroad function. This is and Carlton supporter function. This is a footy function. So a partner with a company called Sports Connect, and this is a celebration of footy. And the concept is we are going beyond the boundary and behind the broadcast. And we're going to be highlighting the game and the evolution of footy media. You're going to see some panels. You're going to see one, which will be essentially footy abroad. So myself, Pommy, I hope Luke can make it. He hasn't confirmed yet because Collingwood have a practice match that day, and Jake from Saints TV. And then there is another panel, which I'm not going to release information of just yet. But basically, there's going to be, you know, footy fans from all clubs. We're going to have people from Clubland, people from the industry, media, and we're just going to celebrate the game and where it's come from. So I'm pumped to have you all there. Friday, 20th of February. If you would like to come, if you are not a member and you would like to be a member, you can sign up for as little as $10 a month. And you can purchase a ticket at the members discount. But Friday, the full price tickets for the general public will come out. So I'll do that with, you know, the training report and things like that. So I'm very excited to have you there, and I can't wait to show you what we've got in store. So that's that. Friday, 20th of February. Please mark that in your calendars. All right. I think that's it. I think that's all we've got. Turn it to you. Any other questions? Any other points that you'd want to raise for tonight? Debbie, will there be a video shown for those who can't go? We will have some things filmed. We will have some things filmed, but not the entire event. I'm going to put the link for anyone to call in on last time. If anyone wants to call in, you can. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up shortly. I don't plan on doing a live stream of the entire season launch. I think part of part of that. Stephen, you are actually who I was talking about earlier because you're going to Ed Sheeran on the 27th. But no, there won't be at this point. There won't be a live stream of the function. But I will say I would think that the chat on stage with myself and Pommy and Luke and Jake, I would say that we'll probably film that because that's going to be a very interesting chat. Now, Footy Abroad, we're going to do an earlier episode of that in a few weeks' time. So there you go. Okay, what else have we got? Will I be doing player preview streams again? Yeah, we can do that. We can definitely do that. I kind of want to wait a little bit. What I found out at open training last week was that I kind of want to find out and start doing these player preview streams when the list is finalized. I mean, there's obviously players that will definitely be there, but we have until, I think, a week before the first practice match, which is against Geelong, but hasn't got a date yet. That's when we'll find out who gets the spot. There were some rumors going around that Wade Dirksen would be invited to the club and be a part of the potential players to get the spot. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all, but we will wait and see. Navy Blues, as a sponsor of Ben Ainsworth, what type of contact access do you have with him? Well, I'm going to be sitting with him on a table with him at the season launch event that the club will put on, and I actually have 2 tickets to that. So I'll be going, and one of you will be coming with me. So I will have details about that at some point soon, and that'll be that ticket to that event will be, it'll be, we're going to spin the damn wheel. We're going to spin on that thing. And so I'll have more information about that. So you can come with me and you can meet Ben, and I can meet Ben because I haven't met him. I've spoken to him, but I haven't actually met him. Andrew, the Lions, I think the Lions will be there on grand final day with the Cats. That's my very early prediction. I'm very bullish on the Lions. All righty. The SSP deadline is February 20, same night as the season launch. Great. So we can break the news live at the event. We might see if we can invite some journalists down to break the news for us. I'm going to give Mitch Cleary and maybe Xander Maguire a buzz. See if they can have their phone on standby. Have I got an actual wheel this year? No. What do you mean? I've always had a wheel. It's a real wheel. 3P, all Queensland granny. Okay. The Empress. The Lions and the Cats are in trouble. Felines are not good for 2026. Okay. Paul, you look forward to winning Ben's shirt in the first spin the wheel. Yeah. So I will have a signed Ben Ainsworth Guernsey that will be given to me at the end of the year. And I will be giving that away to one of the members. So there you go. No, I won't have a physical wheel. It doesn't really make sense to have a physical wheel because, there's new members that sign up. And so I can't physically put their name on the wheel. Or are you saying have a physical wheel and put a number of prizes on there and then spin the virtual wheel to pick a winner, and then they can spin the physical wheel to see what prize they get? Because that is a good idea. I actually don't mind that at all. Only Carlton. Jagger might save this football club. Shout out Only Carlton and his elite eyebrow game. Absolutely elite. Got a lot of respect for a man that looks after his eyebrows. I need a sink the slipper segment for the show. All right. Look, I'm not going to get your hopes up. I'm not bringing a physical wheel into the studio. So we'll see. Spin the wheel. No, but I will spin the wheel next Monday. Promise. I promise we'll do that. All right. Anyway, guys, I think that's us. Jen, I see you. Blue Abroad. Yeah, you tagging me? Where are you? Am I taking you to the BNF or this one? Hey, Jen, you have options. We will see. I hope to see you in February for the event. All right, guys, it is awesome to have you back. I'm looking forward to it. I will see you definitely on Friday. I'll have a training report and some highlights. Hopefully, we're allowed to film a little bit more than the warm up. But again, I don't know how serious this session will be, given it seems like it's a bit of a family day. There's signing happening. It's school holidays. Anyway, we will see. But I'll be in touch. If you are a member and for whatever reason you did not receive my emails today, for whatever reason that is, please message me somewhere else. I might have an old email. I might have an email spelt incorrectly. But if you did not receive a single email from me today and you are a member of Blue Abroad, please message me so I can give you your discounted ticket link before it expires for the season launch event. All right. Much love. See you soon. Go Blues.